Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about UML sequence diagram. I myself, Dr. Vimal Kumar B. Waghela. So these are the outline for today's discussion. The elements of the analysis model, introduction, notation. We'll see one example. Then after we will see the guideline for the sequence model, and then after I will summarize. So as already you know that we are discussing the elements of the analysis model. So basically I can say it will be categorized in two different categories, so object oriented analysis and structure analysis. Here you can see that today we are going to discuss about the sequence diagram, which are the part of the behavior modeling. So a text format is convenient for writing, but it does not clearly show the sender and receiver of each message, especially if there are more than two objects are to be involved in the system. So sequence diagram show the participant in the interaction and the sequence of the message among them. A sequence diagram will show the interaction of the system which actors to perform all parts of the use cases. So sequence diagram basically it is nothing but it is an interaction diagram that models a single scenario which is to be executed in the system. So what I can say that what are the dynamic aspect of the system? The message moving among the objects, flow control among the object, the sequence of the events. The sequence diagram will describe the flow of message, event, action between objects. It will also show the concurrent process and activation. So it will also show the time sequence that are not easily depicted in other diagram. So typically used during the analysis and design to document and understand the logical flow of the system. So if you want to understand the flow of the system, a logical flow of the system, then people will are using the sequence diagram. So quickly we will see what are the different notations are to be used in a sequence diagram. The first is the object. So as you know that objects are the instance of the classes. So object is represented as a rectangle which contains the name of the object under the line. The another notation that will be used in a sequence diagram, that is actor. The actor is modeled using the usual symbol that already you know in a use case diagram. The lifeline. The lifeline will identify the existence of the object over a time. The notation for lifeline is a vertical dotted line extending from object. Somewhere it is to be used a dotted line, somewhere they are using the box also. The messages are modeled as a horizontal arrows between activation which will indicate the communication between objects. So for today's discussion related to sequence diagram, I have taken one simple scenario. Based on that scenario, we will see the different kinds of a sequence diagram. So in this example, you have been seen that this is a very simple scenario for the online stock broker. Well, John want to buy or purchase 100 share at the market price. So considering all the aspect of the scenario, this is the sequence diagram for the same. At the upper side you have seen that there are three objects are to be there. I have mentioned the customer, stockbroker, system, security exchange. So the customer will log in into the system, then a secure communication is to be established after the verifying the customer. Once the customer is verified, the portfolio is to be displayed. Then after the customer has put a request to purchase a stock, then the fund is to be verified. If the fund is verified successfully, then the request confirmation will be there. So this is the sequence diagram for this scenario. Now in this figure, you can see that sequence diagram corresponding to the stockbroker scenario. Each actor as well as the system is represented as vertical line that is called as a lifeline, and each message by horizontal arrow from the sender to receiver. Okay. So the time proceeds from top to bottom, but the spacing is irrelevant in a sequence diagram. Each use case will require one or more sequence diagram to describe the behavior. So once you have drawn a use case diagram, so out of that use case diagram, we have to pick up some of the tasks, and those tasks are to be elaborated using the sequence diagram. So it is the best to show a specific portion of the use case, not to attempt to be a general. You can draw a separate sequence diagram for each task. Now, whatever you have seen in a figure 1, that is a complete sequence diagram for the scenario that is given. But sometimes we can divide the sequence diagram into the number of parts. This is the example that is shown in a figure number 2. This is a sequence diagram only for to stock purchase. So you can see here the customer will put a request, the fund is to be verified. If the fund is confirmed, then the customer will put an order, the order is to be placed at the security exchange, and the order is executed. Same another sequence diagram for the same scenario that will describe the sequence diagram for stock quote. So here the customer will put a stock symbol. Based on that, the security exchange will report a stock data. So the example figure number 2 and 3 will show an order to purchase a stock and request quote on a stock. This and various other tasks would be fit to the entire stock trading session. So another sequence diagram for the same scenario, which will describe the exception or error that is to be happen in that scenario. This is the sequence diagram for stock purchase that is to be failed. Here the customer will put a request to enter a purchase data. The fund is to be verified, and it is to be found that at the stock broker system that fund is insufficient. So the purchase request is to be cancelled or rejected. So the customer can cancel the purchase. So you should also prepare a sequence diagram for each exception condition within the use case that is already depicted. So in most of the system there are unlimited number of scenarios, so it is not possible to show them all. However, you should try to elaborate all the use cases and cover the basic kinds of behavior with the sequence diagram. So that what I need to say that these are my simple guidelines for sequence model. The first, you have to prepare at least one scenario per use case. The steps in a scenario should be logical command. It cannot be individual button clicks. Later during the implementation, you can specify the exact syntax of input. You can start with the simplest mainline interaction. No repetition is to be there. One main activity is to be depicted in the sequence diagram, and typically values for all parameters. Another, that is abstract scenario into the sequence diagram. The sequence diagram clearly shows the contribution of each actor. Always you remember that you must describe the contribution of each actor in the given sequence diagram. So it is important to separate the contribution of each actor as a introduction to organizing the behavior about the object. Now, whatever the complex interaction are to be there for a given system, you can divide the complex interaction, break the large interaction into their constituent tasks, and prepare a sequence diagram for each of them. Then prepare a sequence diagram for each error condition that already we have seen in one of the figure 4. So it will show the system that how it will respond to the error condition. Sometimes we are calling as an exception. These are some example here for sequence diagram. This is for ATM withdraw. Here the actor itself are to be considered as object, ATM database. So this is the normal scenario that is to be happen into the system. The another sequence diagram for library management system. Here the difference is what? If you see the previous and this one, the difference is to be, you can just visualize that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Here instead of the message I have used a method. The login method, validate detail method, book request method, select book methods are to be there. Again it is a valid. So sequence diagram for the student course enroll. Here again I will revise what are the components are to be used or notation are to be used in a sequence diagram. The first we have seen one of the component or notation that is used in a sequence diagram, that is called as a object. So object is instance of, here in this example, a student is a specific instance of the student class. You can use a generic name also, like seminar course. The another component are to be used in a sequence diagram, that is a lifeline. Here it will be also showing the execution of the object. Then every sequence diagram you can also elaborate the method call also, and the return value also you can describe in the sequence diagram. So that is all about the sequence diagram. The different notations we have seen. What is the guideline we have seen. When to use a sequence diagram, that we have seen. So sequence diagram will model the object interaction with emphasis on the time ordering. The method call lines must be horizontal, vertical height matter, the lower equals the later. Always you have to label the lines. Lifeline, which will be dotted vertical lines are to be there. Execution bar, the bar around the lifeline when the code is running. There are different kinds of arrows are to be used in a sequence diagram. Each and every arrow has a different meaning. First is a synchronized call. You are waiting for a return value. At that moment of time, the triangle arrow head are to be used. A synchronous call, not waiting for a return, but it is an open arrowhead. And the return call, if it is there, then dashed line will be used. So this is all about the sequence diagram. Thank you very much. If you have any query, if you have any suggestion, then you can post on my YouTube channel. If you do not have a subscribe to my channel, then I am requesting you, please subscribe to see more technical videos for the technical subject for the computer engineering. Thank you very much.